Hello, everybody. My name is Roxana Gil-Bautista. I am running for Director of Programming for the next term. Okay, there we go. And again, there's a profile picture of me on the slide. So hello. So fun facts about me. I'm currently a sophomore. My major is exercise science. And my favorite color is blue. I was born in California, but most of my life I was raised in Delaware for the most part. My favorite food is anything that deals with chocolate. But right now I love to snack on powdered donuts. So that's my food preference, my snack preference for right now. Okay, so the director of programming is essentially to develop and plan events. So I just put it here what constitutionally director of programming have to do. So just to get a general gist is, coordinate campus-wide events and other programs with co-sponsorships or vendors. So it's stuff like that. And communication is really key to plan and execute those programs and those events. So in the past, it has been like Rezapalooza, Travel Now, and currently it's on the works right now. But yeah, and usually they work with Director of Community Engagement to at least provide an engagement opportunity with other CAVs and collaborate, right? So yeah, that was just like a gist, constitutionally what they're supposed to do. All right, and experience. So, so freshman year, I was president of the community council, which was CAV, but back then it was community council. So yeah, so I was living at the Gilbert Residence Hall freshman year, and I ran and took my chances to run for president. And luckily, I won the election that year with great support. So thank you. And then sophomore year, so right now, I'm a sophomore and I am a member of OLA, Mi Gente, and Soles. So most of my time I'm in other clubs and just going to meetings, which I love to do, and and participating in those. So probably you see me on campus to those events. And then currently, I am the director of programming in the RSA for this year, right? All right, next. So my goals. So my 3 top goals is building memories, right? So these events, I really want to build memories with you guys so you guys can look back and be memorable. Like my freshman year, I cannot stop how much RSA has done for me. It really has made me look back and appreciate those memories I have made and the friendship that I have made throughout my experience in RSA. And I really wish to give that back to you guys. And so you guys can build upon these memories and hopefully build a network here. And then the next one is having successful events. So we all want successful events and to have fun. I think that's most of the time, successful events is where you have fun, right? So I want events to have fun, but also like help you professionally and maybe a personal level as well. It doesn't have to do professionally, like it might be just like have fun and have a fun time event. But I want it to have a positive impact through these events that we're gonna hopefully do the next term. So yeah, have a positive impact in your life, either personal or professionally. So yeah, so those are my 3 goals: build memories, have successful events, have a positive impact. I want to also collaborate with other RSOs and just build upon that. Right now, there's just restrictions on doing that, and there's just, for now, we can't do, but I have good ideas in mind to do for the next term. So yeah, I don't want to give, well, if I would, I want to do an event where I can go reach out to other RSOs and have a successful event with that. I don't know if I should give a lot of detail to that, but hopefully one day, right? Yeah. And I look up to Michelle Obama, and I really love this quote. Success isn't about how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. And that's why I want to do an RSA and change people's lives and make it better, for the better, and make an impact in the community. And I think that's a great way to, start your journey again. But also, I love the journey in RSA, and I wish I can continue this experience and hopefully have the same experience that I have to you guys. So yeah. And thanks. You can contact me at my email. It's rgilbat@udel.edu. And do you guys have any questions? I think I think that's where I can stop sharing my screen, or I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roxana. Keep your screen shared during question and answer, please. We will now move into the period of question and answer for a duration of 5 minutes. I will begin the time with the first X in the chat. Connor?
Though the current pandemic is possibly coming to an end with vaccinations coming out and other things like that, but it is not, we have not seen the end of the tunnel. So with the fall semester coming up with possibly still a pandemic situation going on, how do you plan to make your event successful in that type of space? I know you kind of talked about it, but I wanted maybe a more in-depth description on how you plan to use these restrictions and still make the event successful.
Like I said, a good question, by the way, Connor. So this is right now in the term that I have, been the director of programming, I have seen what I have to do to make an accessible event. And I have learned so much, and seeing that communication and reaching out to those, hopefully reaching out to vendors that could help make a successful event during this time, and also just using resources in hand that everyone is accessible to. I think that's very important. So good question. So yeah, communication with everybody, and just, being open-minded about our residents' ideas and what they want to see. Yeah.
Awesome. I will yield to me, who was the second X. So my question is, so you mentioned that like one of your goals is to have successful events. Would you mind elaborating on what is a successful event to you and what some program ideas you have to achieve that goal?
Yes. So a successful event is when people have a positive feedback, right? And like their experience with an event, and just get feedback from them. I think that's how you finally know if it was a good event. So feedback is really essential. Also communication with members is also important. The flow of the event is also essential. And yeah, and if it's like, it doesn't have to be a high volume of people, right? Sometimes, hopefully that happens, but in most cases, there is a possible chance where you don't get the turnout that you would like, right? So I feel if you just made an impact with one at least one individual, I think that makes a change. And just like the feedback that you hear from multiple people, I think it is a successful event. So numbers don't matter, but the impact does. So I think the positive impact is what makes the event successful.
Sylvia?
All right, so my question is, what are you going to do differently next year as opposed to this year?
Good question. So I would like to make more meetings with CAB, specifically, just like a, twice a month situation where we can do events, and just bring you guys together for CAB specifically, or even open to other UD students around campus. But if that is not permitted for the next term, then probably meetings virtually would be nice. Even to gather and just talk. I think we could do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Connor?
I have two questions, but if that means I need to put in a second X, that's okay too. How would that work? Can I put in an X after Ryan, or should I let Ryan go after my first one?
If your questions are related, you can ask them both. But if they are separate questions, then put an X after Ryan.
Okay, then I'll do one and I'll put an X after Ryan. So my first one, I guess, is in relation to what Sylvia said. So you talked about having more meetings with CAB. Would you plan to work with the director of campus engagement on those things, or would it be a purely run by the programming chair?
No, actually, I would like to work with community engagement.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt for a second. Q&A time has expired, but I will entertain a motion to extend Q&A. Heather.
Motion to extend Q&A.
Yes, do we have a second? Second from Hannah. Awesome, thank you. I will start the time once whoever was speaking continues to speak.
I think it was me to answer.
Go for it.
Okay. So what was Hannah saying? And Connor, you have a good question. So I would like to work with community engagement just a little bit more. I haven't had the chance to really work with community engagement this term. Hopefully next term I will work more, so we can do these small gatherings with CAB. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yes.
I believe Ryan was next in the speakers list. Yeah.
Thank you. So, Roxana, you've now had the chance to serve in your position for about a full year. What are, one or two lessons that you learned from this year serving as director of programming that you will sort of apply to if you were elected again next year's term?
Right. Yes. So two tips. Even if if I don't win this election, but the next director of programming, I think it's very useful to know communicating within everybody that's in your team. So I think communication is very, very important. as the director of programming, right? Reaching out to CAB, RSA, eBoards, vendors. So yeah, communication, that's one. Also, the secondly is also planning. Planning is very important. I think just have more, a considerable amount of time that you can plan an event is very important. So time and communication.
Right, Connor?
So my other question was that you referenced working with other RSOs on campus. I was curious if you could maybe, bless you, Ryan, if you could give an example of an RSO that you'd like to work with specifically and how you'd make an event that both benefits their GA or constituents and us at the same time to make a successful event for both organizations and not just us.
Okay, so thank you for answering that question. I've been like holding my tongue, not to say my thinking that event that I have in particular, but I would like to do a multicultural event, or like, from a diverse countries, and then we can present about them. I think that's very important. I know like it's during this time, we can't physically go to these places and travel, right? So I would like to do a virtual, a virtual format where we could ideally visualize if we went to that country, like this food you would do, right? What they eat, their culture. And I think that's just like would be a fun experience for everyone, since traveling is not a choice right now for most people, right? So I would like to do a virtual multicultural type of situation, or hopefully actually be in-person event, right? So yeah, a multicultural, and that would I would try to reach out to different RSOs, because there's many that would gladly come to our and participate with us. So an example would be like Mi Gente. And I know in our campus, there's other clubs out there about, like Pacific Islander. I think that's another. There's other clubs out there that we can reach out. So it doesn't have to be a specific one. It could be numerous, but again, it's a lot reaching out to those RSOs. So that's what I plan to do. If I could make this event, because it is exciting. It's something that I do want to do for next term, for sure. So a multicultural event.